to Sister Voices Speaking. Today we'll be discussing life in silicone, transgender toxic tush talk. Can we do it again?
New York City, and we're like, especially if you're a trans girl, it's like, girl, you need to go to New York. You can get all your surgeries. You can get this and that. South Florida. South Florida is the most.
Welcome back to Sister Voices Speaking. Today's topic is life in silicone.
To go look beyond the layers of all that we are. You know how like my opening is all these different titles. Focused organization. There's also one called Trans Inclusive with Misty.
So tell us about South Florida, USA, the weather, and do you have a good support network?
South Florida, USA, honey. I do that for all of my like foreign supporters, that are in other countries, so they know exactly where I am. But I love it here. For the most part, I always say it's nothing like waking up to sunshine and palm trees. It gets a little brutal in the summertime. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, what were you saying, Misty?
I said, yes, I love the palm trees and sunshine.
Yeah. It gets a little brutal in the summertime because of the humidity. So, I'm a girl that loves her makeup, honey. So in the summer, I'm like patting a lot and trying to stay in the air conditioners. Yeah. But and we have a hurricane season that we have to be vigilant about. We don't get one, thank God, every year, but every now and then we'll get a major one. I've been fortunate. I've only gone through about 4, and I've been here since '89. So I think I'm giving away. Good luck. I'm giving away my age, girl.
I won't tell nobody.
Okay, great. So yeah. Now, I don't know if you all are aware, but South Florida has the second largest transgender and gender non-conforming, non-binary community in the United States. So we're the second largest. So our networks here are pretty good. I mean, we have here in South Florida, there's a number of organizations and resources. There's a number of trans-led organizations which just came about in years. Yeah. So,
that is so cool.
Yeah, it is. I would recommend, if anyone's moving to Florida and you're transgender, definitely come to South Florida, because the thing about this state, it's a Republican state. It's a red state, very conservative. Yeah, very conservative. But the thing about it is, when you get into South Florida is the most democratic part of the state. It's the most liberal part, and it's the most diverse part, because we're a melting pot here. People come from the Caribbean, South America, Central America. Yeah.
That is so beautiful. It sounds like multiculturalism is definitely there to be found.
Yeah, well, and I guess you could relate to that being in New York, honey. There's a lot of juicy stuff in New York. Honey, I like to come up there and take a little bite of the apple every once in a while. all them fine guys, honey.
Yeah, like being in a candy dish.
Right.
So Rajee, tell us a little bit more about your network.
Okay, so, the South Florida transgender and gender nonconforming community is large. It's, like I said, the second largest. However, a lot of us, we look at New York like New York City, and we're like, especially if you're a trans girl, it's like, girl, you need to go to New York. You can get all your surgeries. You can get this and that and the other. And it's so funny how, like, a lot of us, we think like New York is so progressive. And then, you talk to girls from New York, and, you all certainly have your problems too. I think everywhere has their issues, and that whole saying about the grass looks greener on the other side.
Yeah.
I think with South Florida, the resources and the the resources are there. And there's a
Nice.
number of organizations. I am an outreach advocate for an organization called Trans Social. It's a trans-led, trans-focused organization. There's also one called Trans Inclusive with Miss Tatiana Williams. I think you all probably know her. And then we have Ariana Lynn, who has the Ariana Center, which is their focus is more like the Latino community. So there's resources. We have a lot of the health centers, and there's the Pride Center, all of that. But what happens with the networking is that in this country, race is a big thing, and you see it in the dynamics of the cliques a lot of times. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Like, you know, trying to really get like a completely unified community oftentimes it's difficult because of culture and race. And, you know, like, in other words, let me break it down more. The Latino people are going to be with the Latino people, the Black folks with the white folks with the, you know, and me, because I'm multiracial, I just kind of like have tended to mingle with everyone, you know, but I think that's one of the things about keeping us not as unified, like there's some sort of divide there, and we're not as unified, that, you know, as unified as we could be.
Because we could be more of a conglomerate, like all the particles mixed together to make like a strong concrete force.
Girl,
with all like the little divisions and stuff, it makes
well, there's power and unity. There's power and unity. That whole thing, divide and conquer, even with our LGBTQ community. Okay, we've been clumped together, even though each community has their own set of issues and their own agenda. But the bottom line is we're clumped together by society, LGBTQ. And I always say, honey, even though we have our differences, we're in the same boat, just different compartments. So there's power and unity. And I think that a lot of that kind of comes from, and I don't want to like make this like a completely racial thing, but I think the colonialism of like, you know, divide and conquer, and like not being able to see groups that are living on the fringes, because let's face it, the trans community, for many years, we've lived on the fringes of society.
And the outskirts.
The outskirts, right? Groups that are like disenfranchised and, you know, dealing with poverty and social issues and stuff. And what I've seen is when we can come together, we can really make some big things happen. Because I was one of the ones that attended the March on Washington, the first trans march on Washington in 2009.
Oh, wow.
And when I tell you the sea of beautiful trans people that came from all over, and we stood together, unified, to declare our equity and our equality. And beyond that, to declare our humanity.
Yes. Oh, that is so beautiful. I wish the world was more like that. Not just in one instance, but like more of us. There's more of us.
Let me tell you, I think if people were able to go look beyond the layers of all that we are, you know how like my opening is all these different titles and, you know, and all the drag, because we all decorate. Some people are a little more elaborate than others, but even a guy decides if he wants to grow a goatee or shave his face, or, you know, cut his hair, or grow, you know, dreads or whatever. That's a drag. That's like an image that a person chooses. So what I'm trying to say is beyond all of that, we are all divine, vibrational, living energy of existence. And so, and that's the core.
Yes,
of
that's the
all
mystic in you coming out. I saw that you're into mysticism, and I'm very spiritual myself. So I see where it like comes into play.
Misty, listen, that's the only thing that's eternal. That's the only thing that we take with us. Everything else
Yes.
we leave behind, even our bodies. Okay, so it is so powerful. And I think that if the human race could truly come together, and whether you're trans or you're gay or you're straight or you're white or you're black or you're Latino, young, old, if we could be able to honor each other for our divine beingness, that would solve a lot of problems.
It really would. A little bit of unity in the world.
Yeah.